Hey guys, good evening and good morning as well. And thank you so very much for joining. So in the last class or yesterday class, what we discussed about information security introduction part, and also we started governance side, and already we completed governance. Under the governance, we discussed about COVID-5 framework. After that, we started about what is vulnerability and what is threat and what is risk. And even we discussed about what is likelihood and also impact. And finally, we completed risk matrix. So based on the likelihood into impact side. So based on this risk matrix only, we can do the risk assessment. So once again, taking the people opinion and also once again taking the people feedback. That one we are going to do now, one of the session. So we'll take one of the server or database or application or endpoint, and we can do the risk assessment. So before going to do the risk assessment, I have to provide the couple of definitions as well. Let's go and continue from there. So next one is residual risk. It's a very popular interview question if you are going for any risk vacancy or GRC vacancy. So residual risk meaning here. So even though you are implementing security controls, so still some of the risk will be existing. That existing risk we can call it as a residual risk. For example, you are implementing EDR agent under the our endpoint side. Do you guarantee that compulsory? Okay, so that agent will protect or prevent or block or quarantine all malware category of the attacks? So not sure. Why? Because maybe that agent will sleep, or maybe that agent will not be up to date. That agent may be not to do the patch updates. So that one we can call it as residual risk. Even though we are implementing security controls, so but still some of the risk will be existing. In our practical day-to-day world, maybe you are taking LIC policy or maybe health insurance policy and so on. Do you guarantee that you will alive 100 years? It's not necessary. So even though still some risk will be existing, whatever risk will be existing, even though risk controls we are implementing, that risk we can call it as a residual risk. So that is called residual risk. After implementing risk controls, still some of the existing risk will be there. That risk we can call it as residual risk. So it's one of the popular interview questions. So almost whenever you are going for any vacancy related to risk assessment or risk management framework, most of the cases we can expect this particular question. So next one we are going to discuss about risk management framework, that is called as RMF. So there are a couple of risk management frameworks. So very popular risk management framework. Already yesterday JR someone asked about NAST framework. That time itself I explained about very popular NAST framework is, sorry, risk management framework is NAST. So in short, risk management framework we can call it as RMF. So under very popular risk management framework all over the worldwide, almost all the organizations they will use risk management framework name is called as NAST. NIST is not only just for the our risk management framework, even for security and privacy, and also especially in our security instant investigation side, we are taking care of the instant lifecycle management also, competition of the ITL process. Okay, so this is NIST framework. Under this one, what is the IEEE standard? What is IEEE standard? It is given the number. It is called 800-37. So this is the risk management framework number. And also one more risk management framework we do have. So that one NAST 800-53. This is mainly for the security and privacy. Privacy related any confidential data or sensitive data or any privacy of the data or truthfulness of the data or trustworthy of the data will fall under the security and privacy. This is RMF. Entire question this one. What is the NIST framework? So I mean IEEE standard number. So answer is 800-37. but most of the people give answer as a 800-53. 800-53 is mainly for the security and privacy. And one more framework, part of our risk management framework side. So we do have the ISACA or ISO 27001. So this is tomorrow class in-depth analysis, how we can do the risk assessment side, and ISACA as well, and also ISA square. All these institutions and organizations, not only just it will provide about how to implement ISMS, information security management system. Along with that one, it will provide about regular vulnerabilities what's going on, or regular threats what's going on, regular threat intelligence feeds whatever it is going on. It will give that information, and also we can use it for our risk management framework as well. So these are the popular one. Out of all these, as I said, NIST 800-37 is a very popular risk management framework. This framework we can use regularly. We are going to discuss about NIST 800-37, and also we are going to discuss about ISO 27001. Both we are going to discuss now. Let's go and discuss now first one, NIST framework. What is the IEEE standard? 800-37. So as per NIST framework, first and foremost, if you want to do the risk identification and risk analysis and risk mitigation overall steps, what all the steps are involved? So first one is prepare the risk. So first we have to prepare the risk. Okay. Second one, we have to categorize the risk based on the risk matrix. So whatever after preparing the risk, we have to do the categorize the risk based on the severity of the risk. So next one is after categorizing risk selection. So which one we have to do the prioritization is first. So obviously we have to do the as per the risk matrix. So based on the likelihood and based on the impact side. So whatever risk it is involved, so risk score is very high. That one we can give the priority very first one. So secondly, we can give the high priority. Third one, we can give the medium. So same as it is, even security incident also triggered in the SIM tool or EDR or firewall or proxy or DLP or any web application firewall. So how can you prioritize the risk, or how can you do the risk selection? So obviously based on the magnitude, if it is IBM radar, or based on the risk score or incident score, or based on the type of the attack, whether it is a false positive and true positive. So this is the way how we can categorize the incident, which one we have to give the prioritization first. That is also one of the interview question. Okay, how can you do the categories of the incident, or how can you do the priority of the incident? Same as it is here also, whenever any risk it is identified, how the risk selection should be. So risk selection should be which one it will cause more business impact, that is on the confidentiality, integrity and availability issue side. In the similar way, how much money is going to impact, that is nothing but financial impact. So if we are multiplying these likelihood and impact, whatever risk score, it will come very high. That one we can give the risk selection is the first one. So next score we have to give the secondly, and third one we have to give thirdly, and so on. So this is the way how the risk selection we are going to do. So part of our categorizing the risk and also selection of the risk. So once we are going to do the brainstorming session, then you will understand. The risk selection. After the risk is already categorized and already it is selected based on the risk matrix and risk score side, then we have to do the risk implementation. We have to implement risk controls. Implementation. Next one, assess the risk. We have to do the assessment of the risk once again, whether whatever we have done it's correct or not. So otherwise we have to do the replan. Okay, like a sprint plan. So finally, authorize the risk. Who will accept the risk? Who is the authorized team? whether it is a Windows team or Linux team or application development team. So basically, that particular risk is belongs to which internal stakeholder in our organization side, whether it is a HR team or network administrator or a DevOps or application development team or Windows or Linux or any other stakeholder. So authorize the risk. So finally, after completing authorization part, we have to do they will accept accountability and responsibility. So here authorize the risk meaning here, whoever internal stakeholder, they have to accept the risk. Yes, we are going to implement whatever issue it is identified. For example, maybe one of the vulnerability is identified on the server side. They will do the patch update. They'll own it. So that particular concept is called accountability and responsibility. So as a security, we should not do the taking care of the accountability and responsibility because we are not a asset owner or server owner. Example, maybe you can consider one of the application. On the application side, input validation is missing. Our strong password policies are not implemented. So obviously, whoever application development team, so they will go and they will take care of the how to implement strong password policies. We will go and we will identify the penetration testing issue or vulnerability issue, and we can inform risk is involved. Maybe attack is trying to do the WASP top 10 category of the attack. That may be SQL injection attack or cross-site scripting attack. So we'll inform to them and we'll identify the vulnerability and they will fix it. In the similar way on the database side, maybe logging is missing. If the logging is missing, whenever any attacker they are trying to compromise, in case account is added or account is deleted or account is modified, maybe strong passwords or brute force category of the attacks are happening on the database server side, logs are not integrated to SIEM tool, obviously incidents or alerts will not be triggered. So those scenarios, what we have to do. So that is the vulnerability or weakness or issue we identified in the database server. Now, obviously, we have to do the risk assessment. So after doing the risk assessment, now database servers team, they have to own it. So now they have to integrate the logs to SIEM tool. So this is the way. So authorizing can be done by accountability and responsibility can be taken care by internal stakeholder. It's not our responsibility. So that keep in mind. Otherwise, if you are taking the accountability and responsibility, so every time, okay, so manager will ask you. So that is not our work. Okay. So always as per RACI matrix, you should be like a consultant. You should be like informed. So responsibility and accountability can be taken care by respective stakeholder. We have RACI matrix. What is this RACI matrix? Please remember this one also. This one also entire question. So R is responsibility, A is accountability, C is consult, I is informed. So always you should be as a security person consultant informed, C and I. Responsibility and accountability can be taken care by respect to internal stakeholder. As I said, whoever risk is involved to that particular team. So those team will fall under the responsibility and accountability. And as a security person, always we should be like a consultant. And we have to inform that vulnerability or issue or bug or problem or risk to the respective team members or internal stakeholder members. So always be like consultant and informed. Responsibility and accountability always they will throw on you, but don't accept it. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. They'll whenever any blame game will happen, they will blame you only if you are taking the responsibility and accountability. Okay. So that is about RACI matrix. This is authorization of the risk. Here, responsibility and accountability can be taken care by obviously internal stakeholder where the risk is identified, which team we identified the risk, and finally monitor the risk. So once we are identified one of the vulnerability existing, that risk is involved. One of the database I already given example, logins are missing. That is one of the risk. On the application side, so input validation is missing. On the perimeter side, so web application firewall is not implemented. On the endpoint side, EDR agent is missing. On the, okay, so overall organization side, password policies are not implemented. On the once again organization side, employees, we should not provided the security awareness training. So all these are loopholes. So whoever stakeholder, we have to inform to them and they have to take care of the overall. So as a person, as information security person, we can provide the how much risk is involved to the organization, how much money is going to impact, how much confidentiality, integrity, and availability issue is going to happen. So that is what our role. Okay, that is the reason everywhere we can remember segregation of duties. What is mean segregation of duties? Whether application developer can do the testing, obviously no. Whether testing people can do the security, no, obviously. In the similar way, whether security will take care of the HR responsibilities, obviously no. Everywhere we have to implement the segregation of the duties. So this person is belongs to these roles and responsibility. This team is belongs to these roles and responsibility. This is the way how we can implement segregation of the duties based on the team wise. And whoever roles and responsibilities are implemented, those team they have to take care of their roles and responsibilities. And so the respective person has to take care. So we no need to always push on them or poke on them. So to take care of the roles and responsibilities. So as I said, accountability and responsibility don't keep on your shoulder. Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble. Okay. So that is about NAST framework under the risk management framework side. So most of the organizations, they will prepare these risk management framework side. So second one is ISO 27001. So this one we are going to discuss now. So this one is privacy and security. This one we are not going to discuss. Just it's for the what is the privacy controls we have to implement, security controls we have to implement. It's not fall under the risk management framework. Just for your information, I provided this 800-53 security and privacy. So second one is ISO 27001 R2. It belongs to ISMS. R, as I said, another institution or organization, ISACA or IS square. So now under this one, what is the risk management framework steps? Identify the risk. First, we have to identify the risk. For that one, we can take one of the example. Second one, assess the risk. Or analyze the risk. So second one is analyze the risk or assess the risk. So this is very important portion. First, we have to identify the risk. And after that, we have to do the analyze the risk. Under this analyzing of the risk or risk assessment side, there are three different types of approaches we will follow. First one is, I'm keeping like a ABC sequence, quantitative. So what is quantitative? What is quantity? Quantity here in this scenario, nothing but number. That number in the form of the currency, either in the form of the USD dollars or maybe in the form of the Indian rupees. Okay. So whenever any risk is involved, how much dollar of the currency we are going to lose it, or how much Indian rupees we are going to lose it. So that is called quantitative risk assessment or quantitative risk analysis. This analyzing of the risk is also called assess the risk. Okay. So if the risk is involved, how much quantitative wise or quantity wise, number wise. So this is in the form of
The
number.
identification we are going to through any tool, right? Either SIM or EDR,
No. We have to do manual analysis. We are
manual.
going to take one of the server or database or application and we can do the risk assessment now.
After identify, we are going to analyze through manual.
Yes.
Either, but
For that
before
one,
that
couple of
identify,
process. For that, sorry to interrupt you. For that one, couple of processes are there. Those processes we have to follow.
okay.
I'll explain that one. Yeah. So this is in the form of number. That number may be either USD dollars or maybe Indian currency, INR. So that is in the quantitative side. So second one is qualitative. That qualitative, how it will come based on the different approaches we have to follow. So here we have to take the people opinion or experts opinion. So we have to take the feedback from the different people. So that different people may be our security team, and also stakeholder. For example, maybe you are going to implement a risk assessment on the server side. Obviously, stakeholder is server's team, and you are doing the assessment on the application side. Obviously, application developers are our internal stakeholders. So we have to sit together and we have to do the brainstorming session. Okay. So now we can take two examples. One is the server or one is the application side. Then we can do the risk assessment. Qualitative. So qualitative meaning here. So taking the expert's opinion or people opinion or group discussion. And finally, we have to make one of the feedback, like a top people, whatever they are saying, we have to collectively together and we have to approach that particular process is called as qualitative. Take the expert's opinion or feedback and finally make risk analysis. So third one, it's a B. So combination of both quantitative and qualitative, that quantitative and qualitative we can call it a hybrid. So we have to consider both. 99% of the organization or every organization, they will implement combination of both quantitative and qualitative. So we have to consider USD dollars or maybe Indian rupees, how much risk it is involved, whatever risk is identified. Even we have to take care of the people opinion. So we should not consider only one. So we have to consider both qualitative plus quantitative. So we have to consider about how much money or financial impact is there organization side if the risk is identified, and also we have to take the people opinion. So by doing this session with the people, now we are going to do one of the session. So I will take two examples, one of the server or maybe one of the application. So first we are going with the server. So that server maybe we can consider Windows 2012. So now we are going to do the assessment. What are the risk is involved? So now I will ask the couple of questions. Now you can give the answer. Or you can say, I want to test you. So what are the different security controls we can implement? Now we are doing the assessment side. I'm information security manager now, and you are my team members. Or maybe I'm the information security manager and all you are belongs to Windows servers team. So now we both sit together and we have to do the assessment side. So first thing is, so what is the question here? Keep in mind Windows Server risk assessment we are doing. So what are the different controls can be implemented? If it is not existing, what is the impact to the organization side? This Windows Server you can consider as it is facing to the internet. It is facing to the internet. On top of this Windows Server, this server you can consider Windows IIS server, internet server. On top of this Windows IIS server, couple of applications are deployed. That application maybe take example google.com or facebook.com or maybe amazon.com and so on, whatever you like. So now keep this one is mine, and now you can tell me. So first one I will ask Ashok. So as a security person, what is the risk is involved for Windows Server 2012 from security point of view? Ashok.
It is outdated server.
Outdated server, but Windows Server 2012 is not outdated server. Can you try in another form or another way? What is the risk may be involved? Any idea?
No, sir.
Chanti, thank you. Keep in mute, please. Chanti, what is the maybe risk is involved? So for Windows Server, from security control perspective,
No idea, sir.
No idea. Anif,
Anna,
any
Anna,
security
no.
risk issue or is risk is involved? Any idea?
Maybe that's sir.
Dilip,
Sir, vulnerability exploit and malware, ransomware.
vulnerability, perfect. Vulnerability management. So vulnerability management we have to do. So for the server side, regular patch updates. That regular patch updates obviously either security updates or normal Windows patch updates. So if you are not doing the regular patch updates, or maybe if you are not doing the security patch updates, obviously attacker will identify the weakness based on the threat actor and also vector, and he will try to compromise the Windows server. In case that server is getting compromised, there are a lot of business impact it will be there because it is facing to the internet. Maybe customers they are going to lose, so availability issue it will come. So that is one of the thing we have to implement. This risk is involved. So vulnerability management, regular patch updates. That patch updates may be our normal patch updates and security patch updates. Perfect. Regular patch updates and also security patch updates. So second one, Mr. Dilip, what
Yes,
is the
sir.
second risk may be involved from security perspective?
Yes, sir. The user may loses the confidentiality, integrity, and availability issues they may face.
Yeah, how it will lose it? So can you provide security what security control is missing so that confidentiality, integrity, availability issues will occur? Which security control we have to implement so that so issue will occur? If we don't implement that one, issue will occur. Any idea? Security perspective?
No, sir. No.
No.
Unauthorized access.
Unauthorized access in which way? What is the name of the attack or name of the control we have to implement to unauthorized
So,
access?
malware.
Okay, it's perfect. So we have to implement EDR on the server side. EDR or antivirus or XDR agent we have to implement. So even the server side also, not only on the endpoint side, like laptop and MacBook workstation or desktop, even for server side also, we have to implement antivirus or EDR and XDR agent. If we don't implement, so obviously attacker maybe can compromise our server. That may be malware category of the attacks, virus or worm or trojan or ransomware or botnet or logic bomb or rootkit or lolbeans and so on. So that one it will cause so unauthorized access or sensitive data exposure, maybe attack and ask even money as well related to financial side. So obviously we have to implement security control as a antivirus or EDR and XDR. In case if are not implemented, obviously it is a risk. So this is the risk assessment we are doing. So this is the security control we have to implement. Okay. So third one, Mr. Venkat.
Yeah.
Any other security control, if you not implementing, what is the cause and impact?
So any server side, if we are not going to implement either any third party or AV, XDR, some other controls, maybe means any port level. For example, open port related. Anyone is
Okay,
going to log
ports.
in that server and
Okay.
get the unauthorized access from server.
Okay, all the ports should not be open. Perfect.
Right.
So we should not open all the unnecessary ports. For example, port number 445, server message block. Because of that one ransomware category of the attack, it will happen. And also we should not open port number 3389. We should not give access to RDP to every end user. Maybe that will cause the attacker can go on, he can do the RDP access. And also we should not give the access to port number 80. So it is like so HTTP only. So it does not provide so confidentiality, sorry, authenticity, authorization, encryption, and also integrity side. So whatever 0 to 65,530 ports are there, whatever necessary ports are there, and who is required for those people only, those end users only we have to provide. So based on the port assessment side. So we should not open all the ports. In case all the ports are open, risk is involved. So maybe attacker try to do so entering into the organization through RDP or maybe through server message block, and he will compromise ransomware category of the attack, maybe other possible ways also. This is also one of the things we have to implement security control. If we are not implementing, obviously risk is involved. That will cause even millions of the dollars also. Okay. Fourth one, Naidu. Naidu. Any other control we have to implement?
The security audits.
Venugopal? I will come back. With second sequence, I will come back. Venugopal.
Like that, sir.
Saujanya? Yeah. What is my question here? So right now we are discussed about vulnerability management, and in case you are not implementing, risk is involved. So that is one of the risk. If you are not implementing EDR and antivirus and XDR agent, obviously risk is involved. Attacker can compromise all malware category of the attacks. And if you are opening all the ports on the server side, attacker maybe can use that ports and he will enter into the organization and he will take unauthorized access. So is there any other risk is involved to the server side? You are not saying
Maybe
basic things also. Sorry to say. Yeah, please. Just you can
data
try.
breach.
It's okay.
Data breach, I
Data,
think, sir.
yeah, data breach, how it will happen? Data breach, how it will
Maybe
happen?
not
Which
providing
control we
any
have to
option.
implement?
For DLP related, we have to.
Yes, DLP.
Yeah, DLP, perfect. That's what I'm expecting. DLP agent we have to implement. So if you don't implement DLP agent, if you are giving unauthorized access to everyone through maybe through pen drive or maybe through so peripheral control or device control or drive-by downloads or maybe through cloud. So obviously data can be copied by the server's team. Okay, even we should not give the FTP access also. So DLP data breach or data exfiltration will happen. Even server side also we have to implement DLP solution, by the way, not only on the endpoint side. Okay, perfect. So in that scenario, whatever data is there on the critical server side, all those data should be exposed, and maybe that is confidential data. So yes, DLP agent we have to implement or DLP solution. So in that scenario, risk is involved. It's very, very high risk, by the way. Next one. Saujanya.
Yes.
Saujanya.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, what is the security control we have to implement? That will, if you don't implement, that will cause risk.
File integrity monitoring.
File integrity monitoring. If you don't implement file
Multi-
integrity monitoring, what will happen?
Data leak will happen, sir.
Yeah, we don't know who is doing what. So we don't know who is adding or deleting or modifying or updating of the data. You are right. File integrity monitoring we have to implement.
Multi-factor authentication.
Yes, this is what I'm expecting from, okay, so long back. Strong password policies or complex password policy. It's a basic one. This is what I'm expecting. For server side also, we have to implement strong password policies and complex password policies. Under that one, yes, multi-factor authentication is one of the mechanism. Strong or complex password policies. So if you don't implement strong or complex password policies, it's like a plain text, and also without any 12 to 25 characters, attacker can try to do the brute force attack or password spray attack or rainbow table attack or pass the hash attack or dictionary attack. That will cause maybe attacker can gain the root level of the access or admin level of the access. He can do whatever he wants, maybe add or delete or modify or so alter the data, or even he can do the deleting of the accounts also. Even he can delete the okay so files also. So strong and password complex passwords are very, very important. If you don't implement, obviously, so all authentication failure category of the attacks, it will happen. Okay, any other security control we have to implement other than this one? Anyone?
Via VPN only we have to access.
Perfect answer. Yes, always. It's a VPN server. So it's a web server, it is facing to the internet. So that server we should access with not without VPN. Only with VPN only we have to access. If we are accessing without VPN, so obviously we have a lot of impact will be there. So first we have to log into our office provided laptop and we have to connect it to our VPN, and then only we can provide or we can access to the server. So otherwise, even we can access from our internal laptops or personal laptops also. We should not expose our server to the public. So otherwise, everybody can access from anywhere. So this server compulsory should be accessed via VPN. Perfect. Next one. Any other thing is missing?
Firewall.
Yeah. So we have to implement firewall, Windows firewall by default. Anyways, that is fall under the antivirus and EDR side, or any other.
ctreated.
ctreated is a security control. Basically, that is concept. What is here, what is security control we have to implement? That is confidentiality, integrity, availability is a cause or impact. My question here is, what is security control we have to implement, or access control we have to implement? All these are security control or access control. If you don't implement, risk is involved that will cause data exfiltration or data breach, or maybe in the financial impact also.
For
So now
monitoring
we are
related integration.
perfect, excellent. So security logging and monitoring, this is what also I'm expecting. Security logging and monitoring. All the logs, whatever it is generating under the server side, using the collector agent method, we have to integrate the logs to SIM tool. Under the server side, we have to configure the couple of use cases or correlation rule related to brute force attack or multiple authentication login failure attempts, or disabled account login failures are coming, terminated account login failures are coming, and also account is added, account is deleted, account is modified, or account is altered. So attacker can do once the attacker is gaining the access to the admin level. So or maybe attacker will try to compromise the, so uh, by by providing the root username and password, all authentication failure category of the attacks. So that is the reason whatever logs are generated under this server side, we have to integrate it to SIM tool, and we have to create server side correlation rule. Here log source or data source is server, and to that server what are the different types of correlation rules we can configure? We can configure the brute force attack. Under that one we can configure the multiple authentication login failure attempts from the same source IP, multiple authentication login failure attempts from the same source user, and terminated account login failures are coming, disabled account login failures are coming, and also DLP related use cases or correlation rule we have to create. And also once the attacker is gaining the admin access, maybe attacker can do account deleting, or account is adding, or account is modifying, or account is updated. All those things he can do. So these logs we can integrate and we can create the correlation rule. It's a perfect one. Next one. Any other? Otherwise it will cause a lot of impact. That is risk to the organization side. Any other?
Sir, conducting the security audits.
Security audit. Yes, security audit. Yes, all the security audits we will implement. In any other missing piece?
Like IDS, IPS.
IDS, IPS, it's a part of antivirus. Nowadays, whatever EDR and XDR
Okay.
we are purchasing, it's inbuilt HIDS, HIPS capability, it will be there.
Sir, keeping strong group policies, something like that.
Yeah, this is fall under the strong or complex password policies, or by integrating with the Active Directory, or any other. One thing is missing.
Regular patch update.
Regular patch update is a part of the vulnerability management. Already it's covered under the first point. Role-based access control or identity and access management.
Like ACS,
RBAC.
ACLs.
RBAC, role-based access control. It's a part of the identity and access management. We should not give the access to everyone like admin access. According to the role. For example, Windows servers team, they should have the admin access. As a security person, maybe we can monitor. So we should have the only user account. Maybe whoever is doing the patch update, they should have the only service account or scheduled task. So according to the, so whatever role it is defined, whether they want to monitor or whether they want to do the patch updates, or whether they want to do the entire server configuration. So whoever will access the server, maybe DevOps teams, or maybe Windows servers team, or maybe security team, whoever need the access to the server, we should not provide everyone the admin level of the access. Maybe anybody can do anything by mistake or knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally. So maybe couple of times, so by unnecessarily, maybe they will delete the data. Maybe it will happen couple of times. So that is the reason, as an identity and access management, we have to provide the role based access control with the username. Once again, we should not give the generic like a service account, or we should not give the generic user account. We should not give the like a Windows account. So how we can give based on the username wise? Why? Because whenever any information they are trying to delete or update or modify, who has done what? So that is called identity of the person. We have to do the traceability. We don't know who has done what. For example, so even though we are giving the access to all the device people like a user account, and all the security team also user account, and all the admin, even Windows team also we are giving like a user account. Like username is nothing but user. Now, whenever something will happen, traceability it will difficult. That is the reason it's difficult. It's a I mean it's a good. It is providing a name wise. It's easy for us whenever any security incident is triggered. So that is a part of the role based access control or identity and access management. Last one. Anyone?
The ACLs also come under RBS, right? Access control
Yes,
list.
ACL also will fall under the RBR, RBAC. Yes. One thing is missing. Only one thing. Anyone? Only one thing is missing. You almost covered everything.
Regular patch updates.
Regular patch updates are part of the vulnerability management. Already you said. Encryption, disk encryption. Disk encryption we have to do. So whatever disks we are keeping under the server side, whether it is C drive or D drive or E drive or F drive or whatever drives, we do have that encrypting of the disk we have to do. So otherwise what will happen? So if are keeping everything like a unencrypted one, once the attacker is gaining the access one, so you can read all the plain text data, it will be there. So if are keeping one of the password to those drives, only, so if even though attack is trying to compromise the server, it does not know about what is the key or password we are using for that drive. So we have to implement the disk encryption. Yes. So we have to implement disk encryption or encrypting of the server as well. So these are the controls you have to implement. If you don't implement these controls, obviously risk is involved. So how much risk is? So example, now we are going to do likelihood into impact. So likelihood here and impact. So first one. Okay. Now these are the controls we have to implement. For example, we are not implementing these control. So likelihood, how many times occurrence of the vulnerability management set because of the we are not doing the patch updates, how many times maybe server will get compromised? So Ashok, maybe in 1 year time period, take baseline as a 1 year. Now we are doing the assessment. Now all these are controls. Basically these controls you no need to worry. Wantedly I asked. As information security manager, I can provide all these controls to you already by default in handy. Now I will ask the questions now. So these things I will do the assessment side initially, but I thought to test you whether you remember how to protect the server or not. So this one already we discussed under the vulnerability management by the by. So whether you remember or not. So now what is my question here? So if you're not doing the patch updates in 1 year baseline on 1 year time period, how many times maybe attacker can do the compromise? Ashok, just you can
Sir,
guess it. How many times maybe attacker can compromise? Just you can give any number, that's okay.
more number of times.
Yeah, you can give that number. 1 time or 2 time or 3 times. Give any number, Ashok.
Two times.
2 times it will get compromised. Okay. Because of that reason, how much impact related to financial? How much money we are going to lose it? Okay, this particular server may be maximum worth of the financial impact is $50 million. Because it's a retail server. On top of this particular server, we deployed Facebook or we deployed Amazon.com, we deployed Flipkart.com, IRCTC. How much money we are going to lose now? Approximate.
$50,000.
Maximum is $50 million. You can tell me any number. Just it's a guess.
Yes.
Any number you can tell me out of $50 million, how much money we are going to lose?
16.
16. Okay. $16 million. So this is based on the Ashok feedback. Now I am doing a brainstorming by contacting the each and every person. This is called brainstorming session. It's like a group discussion. Taking the people opinion. I am taking the experts opinion now. You are like a internal stakeholder. Now I am taking opinion. Now Anif, can you give your feedback?
It's 5 times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Okay, how much money we are going to lose? Maximum is $50 million. Approximate impact.
Yeah. 75. 75.
Maximum is $50 million. Maximum is
50.
50 million.
Okay. Then 40.
$40 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Chanti,
2 times and also $10 million.
2 times and also $10 million.
Yes.
Saujanya,
Here.
yeah. Can you guess it? Your opinion you can tell me. It's okay, fine. Whether it is right or wrong, it's a basically imagination or assumption. We're assuming now. This is called hypothesis. It's not a correct figure. It's not a actual figure. Now we are doing brainstorming. I'm taking the experts' opinion, all your Windows servers team, and I'm asking now, and I'm taking your feedback. I'm asking and I'm conducting this survey now as information security manager. So now taking this particular thing is called as hypothesis, like imagination or assumption. So this one only we have to do threat hunting side also under the SIEM tool side. Hypothesis is nothing but what? You will assume maybe attacker can come in this way. For that one, we have to implement SQL queries or KQL queries or SPL queries or AQL queries. And according to that one, we can imagine ourselves based on the hypothesis and we can do the threat hunting belong to different category of the attack. That is different story. So this concept is called hypothesis or brainstorming or assuming or imagination or taking the people opinion or feedback or experts opinion or feedback or conducting the survey. This survey is called as brainstorming in technical terminology. Okay, Saujanya, so what is your experts people opinion or your opinion?
$50 million.
So how many times it will occur? So compromising of the server because of the vulnerability patch updates?
2 times. At a time,
2
maybe
times in a year. Okay, how much money loss we are going to lose it?
$30 million. At a
$30
time.
million. Okay. So now I took the feedback from Ashok, Anif, Chanti, and Saujanya. Now finally I can make a summary on an average. So here Ashok said 2 times, Anif said 5 times, Chanti said 5 times, and Saujanya said 2 times. So altogether, most of the people opinion only I will consider. So now final summary is 2 times. Now, so Ashok said $16 million we are going to lose it, and Anif said 40 millions we are going to lose it, and Chanti said $10 million we are going to lose it, and Saujanya said that 30 millions we are going to lose it. So on an average, we can say that maybe $20 million. So this particular concept or process, we can call it as brainstorming session. Now we took it only for the first topic, first control. What is that first control? Vulnerability management updates. vulnerability management updates only we have taken consideration now. Now we have to go for the second point. So these controls, you no need to worry. This one will be taken care by information security manager. He will make one of the Excel sheet and he will come to you. But I want to test you because already you are a security team, whether you are aware of the how to protect a server or not. So that is the reason I asked about all these controls. Actually, you no need to worry about all these controls basically. Okay, as a now you're considered you are like a Windows service team only. Okay, so now in the similar way, if you don't implement EDR, what is the likelihood? How many times attack is trying to do the compromising by doing the malware infection, and what is the impact? So now we have to do for this one also. Now we have to go for the third one. So in case ports are not open, sir, all the ports are open. How many times the occurrence of the attack it will occur, and what is the business impact? In the similar DLP agent, if we don't implement, how many times attack is trying to compromise server, and what is the data exfiltration or data breach it is going to happen? So this is the way overall we have to do the assessing of the risk and analyzing of the risk. Now this risk, so maybe this risk rating, how much you will give. So here summary, $20 million. So second one, okay, we can do second one also. Then we'll complete. So I'll go with now other people. Basha, in case EDR or antivirus or XDR agent is not implemented, maybe in 1 year time period, how many times maybe server will get compromised because of the malware category of the attacks? How many times it will get compromised? 2 times. And how much money is we are going to lose it? Financial impact.
Approximately 3.5.
$3.5 million.
Yes.
Okay, Naidu. So in case if you are not implementing antivirus or EDR or XDR agent under the server side, so how many times that server is going to compromised because of the malware category of the attack? How many times approximate? Hello? Whether he is there? Dilip. Dilip, can you
Sir,
guess it? Just you can give any number, that's okay.
yes, sir. 3 times and 6 million.
3 times and $6 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Malware only it will take 6 millions. Okay, fine. Next one is Vin Gopal.
Yes, sir. Three
How many
times 10 million, sir.
3 times and 10 millions. Okay.
Yes.
So next one, who else? Who is Xiaomi? Okay,
Yeah,
anyone
myself.
can give the answer now. Yeah, who is that?
Gopi.
Yeah, Gopi. Sorry, your name is not showing here. Yeah, Gopi, can you try
Yeah.
yourself?
3 and 15 minutes.
3 and
15 minutes.
15. Okay. So don't you keep ransomware under the malware? Don't you keep ransomware under the malware? It's ransomware is a part of malware or not?
Yes, sir.
Ransom.
Yes.
Then in case ransomware category of the attack it's happen, in case if we don't have the regular backup, 70 out of 70, 75 are given, right? Maximum. 75 out of 75 also we are going to lose in case if we don't have the backup. But anyways, that's fine. So maximum people are said 2 and 3. So most of the people are said 3. I will go with 3. And so here 3.5, 6 and 10 and 15. On an average, I can say 8 or 9. So 9 example. Now, out of these two, which one is going to high impact financial perspective? First one or second one?
First one, as per you're saying, I mean, the
It's a
summary
first one.
report, first one.
Yes. Yeah, first one. So it's a critical severity or critical risk. Now, so if basically we have to multiply these two, 2 into 20, it's like $40 million because risk is combination of likelihood into impact. It's a $40 million. and 3 into 9, $27 million. So now, which one will give critical and which one will go high out of these two? Obviously, first one is critical. Second one is
High.
high. Yeah. So now, in the similar way, we have to go with other controls as well. We can go and we can do this brainstorming or like a discussion and we can complete. But I'm not going with other. So, but you got some idea, right? How to do and what to do and how to analyze the risk? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
But
So
here I
now,
have a small query. We are not
yeah.
going to implement these securities. For
Mm,
example, we are going to ask everyone
mm,
per
mm,
year how many times
mm,
external attack is going to attack. But we
mm.
can't say like that, right? Because we are not going to implement these security tools any server or organization. Attackers don't know how many, either one time or two times, 10 times they
Yeah,
are
that
going
is
to
correct.
log in.
That is, yeah, you are right. Absolutely agree with you. But this is like maybe it is going to happen 100%. That's what I said. Even you are implementing life insurance or health insurance, we are not sure how many times accident it will occur. We are not sure how
And
many
one
times
more
will
thing,
fail.
for
It's like
example,
assumption.
yeah, for example, he is going to attack our organization life insurance related 5 times, for example. After
Mm.
5 times, already we have lost all those things. No one is trust us. I mean, we are going to close our business, something,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, obviously. So once the attack is going to happen, so they will not see. It depends. So example, maybe in 2020, Cognizant is got compromised. So whether Cognizant business is increased or decreased, maybe in that year, so Cognizant is got loss. So and they already accepted. Yes, we already got compromised. We agree on that one, and in future we are not going to repeat on that one. So now Cognizant business is increased from $8 billion from 2022. Now it is almost, I think, $18 billion or $15 billion. So even though it has got compromised since 2020, now it is increased to $15 to $18 billion in between. So they accepted, yes, my organization is got compromised. That doesn't mean that we will not provide the proper services to the clients or customers. Once again, in that year, maybe 18,000 employees are got terminated by Cognizant companies, CTS. Once again, recruitment is going on 21, 22, 23, and 24 as well. Now that employees count is increased. So one time, some of the bad thing it has happened does not mean that compulsory everything will go in bad way. So once again, they proved that yes, we'll provide the so good services and customer satisfaction in survey is increased and later business also got increased. So this is the way how the so trustworthy of the things we have to accept. For example, maybe Ames New Delhi also got compromised in 2023 or 2022 around I think March month. But Ames did not accept it. If you are doing mistake, yes, you have to accept it. That's okay, fine. That does not mean that okay, so in future it will repeat once again same thing. So even our reputation of the company is damaged. So every time it will not go to losses. Maybe so once they'll come back. So with the okay, so by providing the good services to the customer or clients, so in such a way their business will increase. So this is what it's happened. Example to Cognizant. Coming back to your question, yes, the server is got compromised. All the money we are losing. So that does not mean that compulsory whatever retail applications we hosted on top of this Windows server, that may be Amazon or that may Flipkart or that may be so Walmart and so on. So we have to do the business. So it's customer choice or option whether they'll give the business or not is completely depending on to them. Is it clear?
Yeah, I'm clear. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, this is the way how we can do the assessment. This assessment is called as a brainstorming session, and also there are so many other processes. So now we took example of the server only. We don't have time to go with the application side. So same way we can go with the application also. On the application side also, now what I have to do as an information security manager, for example, all of 10 total, how many members are there? Okay, so 10 members are joined other than me in this class. So now we can go with the Amazon. So this is retail website. So we can order any items here. So maybe now you are developers now. I am the information security manager. Now what I will do, your application development team. So I have to make a questions to security side. So what are the security questions as information security manager? I will go and I'll prepare strong or complex password policies. Input validation. Implementation of web application firewall. Implementation of WASP top 10 category of the controls. So next one is implementation of parameterized queries. Secure code reviews. This also called SAST or static composition analysis. Penetration testing. So this VAPT. And also next one is TPS analysis, third party softwares. Nothing but it's vulnerability management on the application side. VM on the application side. We will take the URL and we'll scan it. Next one is threat modeling on the design side. So using the stride analysis or pasta analysis or dread analysis, are you doing design threat modeling or not at the time of the design? Part of the secure SDLC lifecycle. Yes, SDLC lifecycle controls. So in the secure SDLC lifecycle, starting with requirement phase, design phase, development phase, and testing phase, whether all those phases are you consider security or not? So application logging and monitoring. What are logs are generated? Code quality and code assurance. Whatever code you are using backend, that may be Java, that may be ASP.NET Framework or C++, or Python or PowerShell. So you are considering the code quality and code assurance or not. You are verifying the code quality or code bugs. This on the coding side. This also on the coding side, but this is secure code from the secure perspective. But this is normal code quality. So this is the way as an information security manager, I can propose couple of questions now before going and meeting application developers. These are security based practices now. These are on the server side security based practices we have to implement. And these are the security based practices we have to implement on the application side. Now I will make all these questionnaires. Now I will ask, okay, Amazon, example, you are developing the Amazon retail website, www.amazon.com. So you are developing this particular website or you are coding, everything you are doing total SDLC lifecycle overall. Now I will ask everyone like, so whoever is the responsible person. So whether strong password policies are implemented or not. So everybody now whoever 10 members are there in this particular class, I will ask now. So who is the responsible person? They have to provide the answer. So whether they implemented or not, if not implemented, how much money we are going to lose it. And also one more thing is PCI DSS complaints also, because payment gateway. Once you are going to order anything, so it will go to payment gateway through debit card or credit card or maybe through any other third party payment through UPI transaction. So for that one, we have to follow one of the compliances, PCI DSS compliances. And finally, someone said previously, I think Basha or someone auditing side also. So whether you are reviewing auditing or not. Okay, so this is the way I can provide the questionnaires. Now I will ask all these 10 members as the developers, whether you are implemented all these controls or not for your application side. And finally, I will make, so how much risk is involved based on the likelihood and based on the impact wise, same as it is. So this on the application side. So this is the way now as an information security manager, now we took the example of two things. One is server side, Second one is on the application side. Same way, we can go and we can do on the database server, cloud instance, and also whatever application security assessment and cloud security assessment and HR related policies they are following or not. So machine learning on artificial intelligence side, so application development side, product development side, each and every internal stakeholder, whatever, so roles and responsibilities they are doing as information security manager, we can go and we can do the risk management framework. This is called risk assessment. This is called risk analysis. Then finally, what are issues identified? So for example, we have seen already. So this one critical risk one is identified, vulnerability management. Vulnerability management is not implemented. It's a risk one. Second one is antivirus or EDR and XDR is not implemented. This is another risk. Now these things I have to keep under the risk register. After doing all these things, now we have to do the risk register. What is risk register? Risk register is for tracking of the risk. What is status of the risk? Okay, so what a risk we identified, after that we have to go and we have to fix that risk. For this one, we have to do the regular patch updates, and second one, we have to implement EDR and XDR solution. So straight away, it's not difficult. It's difficult to implement solution now. It will take. It's like a continuous process, vulnerability management updates, and so this is at a time job, and we have to monitor regularly as well. So for this one, I'll create one of the risk. For this one, couple of tools are there, like AHA or maybe ServiceNow or Jira ticketing tools or Atlassian. Okay, so here maybe I can use Atlassian or AHA or ServiceNow or Jira or any other ticketing tool, and I can create one of the risk number here. For example, 1001, it's a risk number, belongs to vulnerability management for the server side, belongs to Windows Server 2012. And second risk is belongs to the antivirus and EDR and XDR implementation 1000, sorry, so 10002. So now regularly as a security manager, I can go and I can speak with the whoever is the stakeholder. So on the server side, I have to keep in touch with them whether they are implementing, how many days it will take to implement this one, how many take it will take to implement this process. So that is called risk register. Risk register, it will provide so status of the risk. So what is the active status of the risk, tracking and monitoring and final closing of the risk. Till the closure of the risk, we have to go and we have to so continuously ask the update to respective stakeholder. Same as it is, whatever assessment you are doing on the cloud security side, this on the server side, this on the application side, maybe cloud security assessment, cloud instance analysis or risk assessment. Okay, so cloud security assessment, what are applications are hosted in the cloud environment, that may be Amazon Web Services or maybe Microsoft Azure or maybe any other. So for example, take one of the applications we are hosting the cloud environment. That application name is called IRCTC. So where we deploy this one under the Amazon Web Services side. So for this one now, as a cloud security person, what are the security best practices? I have to go and I have to ask the cloud architects or cloud developers or application developers, identity and access management, role-based access control, web application firewall, so load balancer, API gateway. Okay, so next one is data at rest, data at transit, key management system or key vault, encryption, logging and monitoring. So next one is implementing of network access control list, security groups, firewall implementation, IDS implementation, IPS implementation, EDR implementation. So integrating logs to SIEM tool, already I provided that one. Next one, DOS protection, scanning of the virtual machines or AWS instances, vulnerability management, for AWS instances. So now I will make all these assessments. This is the vacancy I selected for Australia New Zealand Bank in 2023. So cloud security assessment only I selected. So now whatever applications are hosted on the cloud, I have to do the regular assessment. All these controls are implemented or not. If it's not implemented, I have to go and I have to do the assessment side. How much likelihood from the attacker point of view, any attack it will happen, and how much impact is going to happen. So now same as it is, whatever we have done the risk assessment, we have to do that risk assessment in the cloud side. And finally, we have to make the risk related issues. Then we have to put in the risk register and we have to track that one. But it is not an easy job. You should be aware of the entire AWS or Azure or GCP or Oracle Cloud or IBM and so on. Whatever assessment they are trying to do that. Okay, this is one type of the assessment on the cloud side. Okay, so this is the way now machine learning and artificial intelligence side. So whatever automation they are trying to do for that one. So how do the risk assessment? They are implemented NLP programming language perfectly or not? They are implemented automation or not? They are implemented algorithms or not? Okay, so they implemented playbooks or not? So they implemented Python automation they are doing. So this is on the machine learning and artificial intelligence side. So this is the way how the risk assessment. So on the security prospect, we have to go and we have to verify for each and every internal stakeholder. So this assessment is called as risk identification and risk analysis. Once we'll identify the risk and once you are doing the risk assessment, next step is risk implementation and risk mitigation. That one we are going to discuss in the tomorrow class. Do you have any questions?
No, sir, nothing else.
What about others? So as I said, dedicated to risk management framework, especially lot of banking sector like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, HSBC, Citibank, and of Apollo Hospital, and also Shell Petroleum, oil and gas sector related, banking sector like JP Morgan or Morgan and Stanley, so Dutch Bank. So all these banking sector, healthcare sector, and also oil and gas sector, public sector, government sector, people they are recruiting only for these vacancies. It's a very complicated one. It's not like easy one because continuously we should coordinate and collaborate and we have to schedule the call with the stakeholders and all those. For example, as I said, when I selected for one of the bank, I have to validate 137 controls. Regularly I have to ask the update whether they implemented or not. One of the complaints name is called FedRAMP. FedRAMP has more than 452 compliances when I was working in X company, product-based company. So I used to validate all those 437 controls regularly, and I have to do the assessment side, and I have to do the coordination, collaboration to all the team members, entire team, whoever is a part of the FedRAMP side. So this is the way how we can do the assessment and analysis and fixing the problem or risk, and that entire process is called as risk management framework. Just we have discussed about only two processes now, risk identification and risk analysis. We did not complete yet risk implementation and risk mitigation. Once we will identify the risk, then we have to implement the risk, implementing the controls, and we have to do the risk mitigation as well. And we have to monitor that risk also, whether what is status of the risk. That only 4 steps: risk identification and analyzing of the risk. Third one is implementing the controls, and finally monitoring of the risk. So this entire process we can call it as risk management framework. Okay, so that's all today, guys, and we can continue tomorrow evening. Thank you so much and good night.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Good morning.